Nobody expected this. Hey folks, we have a special treat for you. This is the 2020 Kia Soul X-Line. It is kind of sort of off-roady, but it's really not because it doesn't have all-wheel drive and it's not really lifted. Yeah, it's not really off-road, but they wanted to kind of sort of look it. So we made a decision. We're out here in California, and it turns out that we actually have access to the desert, the snow. So this is technically the first chance anyone has, to take this baby into the snow. And that's coming up next. This, folks, is a 2-liter, 147 horsepower, 4-cylinder engine that puts out 132 pound-feet of torque. It's hooked up to something called a IVT. And I don't know why they call it an IVT. It really is a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. Now, the good news is, this is a fairly efficient engine. It gets 27 miles per gallon city, 33 miles per gallon highway, and a combined 30 miles per gallon. Not too shabby. Now bear in mind that this is not the most powerful power plant they have. They obviously have the 1.6 liter turbo that we already sampled. As it is, with the base model Kia Soul, you can also get a 6-speed manual transmission, and I cannot wait to one of these days get my hands on them. Unfortunately, the X-Line does not have that transmission available. Once again, Kia really wants you to think of this vehicle as a crossover, but it's not. It doesn't have all-wheel drive, so even though it looks like it's a little higher off the ground, according to Kia, 6.7 inches of ground clearance, which is okay. The good news is, it looks like it's kind of sort of SUV-ish with these cool little things they've added to the fenders. That section there, it all makes it look like it could go off-road, but really it can't. I think that this is a decent looking vehicle, and it looks like it's fun. It would look cool with surfboards on the roof. So that's good, right? And the other thing is, unlike other vehicles that are front wheel drive only, like, oh, I don't know, the Toyota CHR, this vehicle has a lot more utility. And this vehicle really does look like something that you could actually take, oh, I don't know, maybe into the snow? So actually, camera guy, before we get started, look, show them how much snow is accumulated. We've only been sitting here for a few minutes and the road's getting covered. So we weren't expecting this, obviously, but it gives us an opportunity to do a little bit of snow driving, which is awesome. You know, we're from Colorado, so we're used to it. We just weren't really ready for it out here in California. And because of that, we can tell you a few things. First of all, this has been doing pretty good in the snow. Now it has 6.7 inches of ground clearance. It does have a bit of a front overhang with all that extra schmutz they have from the plastic and everything in the front. It doesn't really do it any favors in the snow, but I plowed through a little bit and it doesn't really seem to have bothered it at all. Overall power delivery has been really good in the snow. One of the things I'm concerned about usually when I'm in the snow is how the vehicle is going to accelerate out of a problem and how the brakes behave when you're stopping in snow, both of which worked quite well. So this is what has to happen. We need to get this car back up to Colorado where we can put it through some proper snow and really put it through its paces when we're expecting it. The tires are different on the X-Line than they are on the GT. These are Hankooks and they're mud and snow tires. And the good news is they have some pretty decent tread, at least so far in loose sand. Hasn't been too bad. Unfortunately, you have these awesome looking 18-inch wheels. If you were to go off-road with these wheels, I suspect you'd probably scratch them up quite a bit. Compared to the GT line, you definitely feel like you're in a more of a discount vehicle. Let me put it to you this way. Observe my sunglasses. That's pretty hard plastic, and the reason why I know it is because I put my elbow up on here and I realized, man, that's pretty hard plastic. There's more to it than that though. There's nothing quite like having blank spots in certain areas in a vehicle to show you, yeah, you could have splurged and bought more buttons, bro. This would be the spot right here. No heated seats, no heated steering wheel. That's what these blank spots are that surround the gear lever. But, you know, that is how it is on most vehicles. Still, you get a pretty decent sized screen. You get a decent sounding stereo system. I like the steering wheel, even though it's not as beefy as the one on the GT line, and it doesn't have the flat bottom part for my big belly. It still is a very nice steering wheel. There's a lot that you get in this car that, frankly speaking, makes it nice, right? But nothing that's, well, frankly, going to make you feel like, wow, I got a hell of a bargain. Nothing wrong with that though, because the seats are comfortable. Back seats have plenty of space. There's good cargo space. The ergonomics are excellent, but here's the best part about it. It's the seating position. Old farts like me and Roman, well, we're at a point now where osteo's starting to kick in, so having our backs not hurt when we get in and out of a car is a real plus. Now, compared to the old Soul, Kia stretched this one 2 inches, so it is a bigger vehicle. It gives you a little bit more cargo space and it gives you a little bit more passenger space. That's good news. It's actually quite a different sensation driving the X line over the GT line. The GT line feels hunkered down by comparison. It feels a lot sportier. A lot sportier. This one does feel a little taller, and the suspension is perfectly adequate. It's absolutely fine cornering as long as you're not really pushing it really hard. But fly around a corner too fast and the front end is going to dip in a way you don't want it to dip, and it's going to keep going straight when you're turning. That's part of the difference between the two. Different tires, different suspension setups, and a different overall feel. I wanted to talk about something else. The transmission. I get it now. I know why they call it the IVT. It's supposed to be intelligent. And I thought it was a gimmick, but you know what? Actually, they did manage to do something. They managed to make a CVT feel like an automatic transmission. So what they did is they put in artificial steps. And basically, what it does is it kind of kicks down the same way an automatic transmission would. It shifts, even though it's not shifting, basically. So here's an example. I'm going to pull out from this corner. Okay. Hear that? The way it went down like that? If it was a normal CVT, the engine would still remain at full boil, even though we're not moving a whole lot. So it drops RPMs, and it does feel like an automatic transmission to a certain degree. It doesn't feel as obnoxious and as loud as other CVTs from comparable cars, specifically Nissan, that just tends to really make it kind of peak, even though they have a thing that does something similar where they bounce it down a little bit too. This one feels a little bit more refined. Oh my God! Woo! I thought this was Southern California, guys. Look, I know a lot of you yell at me for wearing t-shirts in the snow and stuff, but we weren't expecting this. But it gave us a great opportunity to go into a little bit of snow, ice, and mud and actually see what this thing can do. So far, so good, right? Honestly speaking, I really wish it came standard with seat heaters because we're freezing out here. But for the most part, it's did okay. I think that a Kia Soul in general is a good utility vehicle, but it's just not a crossover. Maybe one day they'll actually give it all-wheel drive. It really could use it. For the Fast Lane Car, this is Nathan Edlund freezing his butt off. I'll see you guys next time.